Hi everyone, this is Michelle from Suzon Spice and Everything Nice. Today's recipe is going to be Mayi Moulin avec pois. Mayi Moulin avec pois is basically cornmeal with beans, and it's a common Haitian dish that can be served a variety of ways. Traditionally, it is made with dried beans. However, I ain't got time for that, so in this version, I'm using canned beans, which will save me time, but it's still just as delicious. Now let's go over our ingredients. Crushed garlic, EPIS, butter, thyme, cornmeal, and make sure the texture is coarse and not fine, diced onions, 1 can of your choice of beans. I'm using black. You will also need oil, water, Goya adobo, and salt to taste. As always, the exact measurements and details of this recipe will be in the link provided in the description box. Once we've got the oil in our pot, we'll add our diced onions, our EPIS, the crushed garlic, and a few sprigs of fresh thyme. We'll mix all these ingredients together and allow it to saute for a few minutes, just until the onions are nice and translucent. Be sure to stir every so often to make sure that the onions don't stick to the bottom of the pot. Now we're ready to add in our can of beans, along with all the liquid. And as I mentioned before, you can use any kind of beans that you like. Here, I'm adding about a teaspoon of salt to add flavor to the beans. Mix well and let it saute for about another minute or two. And as it does saute, continue to mix every so often to keep the beans from sticking to the bottom of the pot. And all this should be done on medium-high heat, by the way. Once the beans are fully heated through, it's time to add in the water. We'll add in a full 6 cups of water. Now we can add Goya adobo to taste. Just sprinkle in a little bit at a time, mix thoroughly, then sample the liquid to see if it's to your liking. You can also do this with salt. Cover the pot with its lid and allow it to come to a boil. While we wait for it to reach a boil, we will wash our cornmeal. This part is pretty much optional and you can omit it if you want. With the cornmeal in a large bowl, pour some water into it and then basically drain it carefully so you won't lose any grains. All the cloudy water and impurities will drain off and the grains will stay at the bottom. This is what you're left with. Now that the water is boiling, we're going to add in the Mayi Moulin, or the cornmeal. As a tip, if you're going to be using unwashed cornmeal, I would suggest sprinkling in the grains rather than pouring it in, because it has a tendency to clump together when poured, making it a little difficult to break apart as you stir. But anyway, mix everything together and turn down the heat about to a medium so that the liquid and grains won't be jumping all over the place. Last thing you want is a big mess or to get burned. You'll mix every so often as the water starts to reduce. At this point, I like to add in some butter. And again, we'll mix it to incorporate everything well. Now here, I cook it similar to rice. Once the level of the liquid has reduced close to the cornmeal, I will cover the pot with its lid and decrease the heat to low and allow it to simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. The only difference here is, every 5 minutes or so, I will mix it up again and replace the lid. You can see each time how the liquid becomes less and less while the cornmeal starts to absorb the liquid and soften. This is the general texture you're looking for. It's not too thick and it's not too runny. The longer you let it sit, the firmer it will become, so I feel like this is a good stopping point. When you taste it, the texture should not feel grainy at all. It will be nice and smooth once cooked through. Well, that's it, guys. Enjoy your Mayi Moulin with some zaboka, aka avocados, fish, sauce, or anything else that you desire. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.